Bad neighbours. Yes, sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. We're going to teach you about that today and give you some values on how much it's going to affect your property price by. Could make it a good buy. Stay tuned. Here we go. Ole, ole. Good morning, Billy Bob.
Good morning. Good morning.
Or as the Serbians in D-Wide would call you, Bogdan.
I don't even know what that means. I don't want to know what the translation is. My Serbian's not good.
It's got God in it, which is good. Bog.
God neighbour. I think I'd be a good neighbour.
You'd be a good neighbour. Hey, what are your neighbours like?
Yeah, they're lovely. I think the one thing that I would fall short on is sometimes still the visitor parking. I'm in and out, and I still the visitor parking, and it does frustrate my parents.
You're one of those people.
Yeah.
Well, look, where this came out from, guys and girls, is we had a huge conversation yesterday with a client that's buying with a school in their backyard. The client is asking us independently, because we're not part of this, we're not selling the property to them. They asked us independently, what are your thoughts of being next door to a school? Particular client we're dealing with is from Iran, and in Iran, it's not regarded as a good thing or a positive thing to have a school in your backyard. So we thought we'd just sort of go through that discussion with everyone. It is open to interpretation, but there is the reality of it wasn't a 5-second answer to the question, was it, Billy?
No, I think we're on the phone for about 40 minutes last night at 8 o'clock. So it was a long-winded answer. But in short, I thought before we get into the nitty-gritty, it was a really interesting comment from you to say that whatever's on your back fence, usually if it's not 3 or 4 other houses that you're looking out onto, you've got neighbors pretty much surrounding you on every side. So if you're looking at something different, there's first of all less houses.
Well, yeah, because I guess you've got, for the conventional blocks of land, you've got one person behind you, person to the left of them, a person to the right of them, or sort of 2 either side. So you sort of got 5 people that you're looking out to when you look out to your backyard, if you've got a typical subdivision. If you don't, it's probably a good thing. You got no one there.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't have houses on your back fence and there's something else, first of all, there's less there's less homes to compete with for parking, less noise, but obviously then you've got to look at what is in the back garden.
So let's look at a school. Does it add value or detract value?
Well, if you're on the street of the best school in Sydney or the best school in Australia, I'm going to say that you're a winner. And I know for a fact that some clients, buy postcodes purely on the basis that it gets them into school catchment areas. So we've sold in parts of Sydney like Epping in the east, where you've got some schools that are regarded as really good for public and private education, and some clients will pay a premium just to be close by and just to get into those catchments. Of course, though, on the flip side, if it's regarded as the worst school in Sydney and it's probably got that reputation from its activities maybe outside the front gates, you probably want to be away. And that's kind of the conversation we had last night.
With that, what else can you get on your back boundary? Mobile substation, like electrical substation or mobile phone antennas.
Yeah, the office has had experience selling alongside a substation. What did you think of that home?
Love the house. Wouldn't buy it.
But they did get a huge saving on their purchase price. So I think these guys were comparing probably an apartment in DY for a house in, sort of 15 minutes up the road.
They probably got 15% off their regular price.
Yeah, it was an amazing property, and yeah, it appeared on Selling Houses, and I think they did a little bit of work with the facade at the front of the building, did a bit of a curb revamp, and I reckon they've added huge value.
Unit block next door compared to a house next door.
The biggest thing I think clients worry about with that is competing for street parking. If you've got more than one vehicle and only one car space, people get worried that there's no parking. And I guess there's some street DY.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a detraction. Definitely a detraction. Park.
Yeah. Park. I think that park's a great thing.
It's cool.
It's cool. It can be rare.
Yeah. The only thing I worry about at park is like burglaries. Like there's just that extra access to that boundary, or some scary person coming in over the side fence. But I think it's an advantage.
I think what people also don't think about when they're considering who their neighbour is if it impacts your days on market, which this might have for this particular client's home that they've been looking at. It was a question they put to us last night. Does having the school on the back fence impact their days on market? Because they've been on market for a couple of months now. That can impact your sale price as well.
Takes longer. Well, I think when you're comparing your house to other like-minded houses, sometimes you can often forget that it's got deterrence sometimes, and then you're not comparing deterrent to non-deterrent. So anyway, other bad neighbours to have on your boundaries.
I've got a good one. What about shops below your apartment? Food shops, retail shops, these
smelly shops.
Yeah, becoming more and more popular.
Well, I can think of a particular building that has an Indian spice market, and the smells that come through the foyer as soon as you walk in to the like this building of about 80, the smells when you walk into that building are pretty spicy. Deterrent.
However, you look at Meriton DY, where you've got Woolworths, and the 80 apartments above those guys absolutely love it because they've got their pantry, the world's biggest pantry, with access
in there. What's behind you, Billy? I think that's important. The quality of your neighbour's house next door, I think, reflects on yours. I think if you've got a burnt down house next door to yours, everyone's going to walk in and go, what's going on here? So I think the quality of your neighbourhood around you does matter. So your direct adjoining neighbours, if they're lovely homes or if they're falling down homes, I do think it affects your value.
Yeah, I think it goes back to being on, the best street. Maybe take the older house in the best street, but your neighbours do matter. What about childcare centre? That's an interesting one.
Childcare centre, I think noise. I think kids screaming. I think deterrent.
And more people are working from home now, so I think people are gone are the days where I'll be back at 8 o'clock, so I don't care what happens during the day. I think people have shifted their focus a little bit more to what's going on, in the day as well.
You may hunt these things, Billy. So on the back of what you said at the beginning, like there may be so much value there by having these deterrents next door that you're getting a superior house. So it may well be worth to actually look for something that has a bad neighbour so you can get a better buy. And you may be able to stomach, something and go, okay, well, I know that's not going to be forever, or I know that I'm not home during those hours. If you're getting $100,000 off your mortgage, smart.
I'll give you an example. I love, I'd always hunt a main road address. I love a main road. Noise doesn't really bother me, and these new buildings are getting so good at noise insulation that by the time you close the door,
electric cars, electrification of buses. It's true.
So good.
Actually, that's a good main road as a neighbour. And Billy, I I've lived for 15 years, chose to live on a busy road. And same thing, it was more affordable. That was probably the biggest driver without us realizing. But I actually ended up oh, I enjoyed that, the hustle and bustle. Like there was always action happening on
Yeah.
that road. So, we called it the balcony bar. People would come over, and the amount of times people would shout, they're driving past, they'd bip and shout, and then I'd walk out on the balcony, I'd go, come up for a drink. And they go, okay. So, we made it work for us.
Yeah, it definitely has its upsides. And I can just think of a real life example, a 1-bedroom apartment we just sold in the building opposite us. There was 100,000 difference in the 1-bedroom floor plan we've just sold. Literally, real life
Huge.
example, 100,000. So that's the difference of getting into like a new building with you enjoy all the same benefits. Doesn't matter whether you're on the busy or the quiet side, or going down the road and maybe getting into an older building. It's a different lifestyle.
So, in summary, bad neighbours, you know what? One person's trash can be another person's treasure. Have a serious think about it. If you do want to tick all the boxes that you have the pitch perfect home, it's 10 out of 10. You will be paying a premium. If you do think to yourself, I can gut this or I can gut that in terms of a bad neighbour, you will be buying for less, and it may be an advantage for you. Think about it.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. See you guys. Cheers. Thanks, Billy Bob. Thanks.